video. So today we are continuing on the topic of moon signs. Today's video is going to be a lot of fun because we are going to be talking about your magical and psychic abilities based on your moon sign. And the reason why we use the moon for this is because the moon is directly related to our intuition. So it will tell us the type of psychic abilities that we have. The first things first, every single person on the planet does have psychic abilities. Some people are going to be more naturally in tune with their psychic abilities than others. Some people are in tune with them but don't realize that they have a psychic ability or that what they're experiencing is a psychic ability. And everybody has the ability to strengthen their psychic abilities, and awareness is a big part of it. So you have to kind of be aware of what your magical abilities are in order to strengthen them. And unfortunately, we live in a society that has brainwashed humanity into thinking that they don't have magical gifts and psychic gifts. But we all do. We are taught that logic is the only way to make decisions or come up with answers, which is usually like always wrong. Usually, if not always, your intuitive answer and your intuitive sense is going to be a lot more correct rather than logic, because your intuition is your own internal compass, and everybody has a different path that they're meant to walk in life and a different journey to take. So your internal compass is going to guide you the way you're supposed to go, not the way that society wants you to go. So everybody has psychic abilities. We're going to go over all 12 moon signs and talk about what they are. And hopefully for those of you who maybe don't realize that you have psychic abilities, or you feel like you do but you aren't really sure if you should trust it, hopefully this video kind of gives you a little bit more confidence to trust in those abilities and kind of empower you to use them a little bit more. So I really hope that you guys enjoy this video. If you do, give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Hello to my new subscribers. You guys leave me like the best comments. Like, I already love you guys. I've had like great conversations with you guys. So anyways, I'm super excited to talk about this, so let's not waste any more time. And as always, there will be timestamps down below so you can skip ahead to yours. So yeah, let's get started. All right, so starting off with my Aries moons. Aries rules the physical body, and specifically the head and the brain. So one of the psychic abilities that Aries has is you guys will get very impactful impulses. You will have these thoughts or these just like a sense of knowing, like this intuition that will come and just like smack you right in the brain. And it's very impulsive, it comes out of nowhere, it's very impactful, it comes with a punch. You guys will get these ideas out of absolutely nowhere, ideas that will inspire you, and that is your intuition. You should trust those ideas. Usually the very first instinct and thing that comes to your mind is going to be right, because you guys do receive intuitive hits by these impulses that kind of just come into your brain out of nowhere. And with Aries ruling the physical body, you guys will feel like physical sensations on your body. So maybe it's like like goosebumps and the hair on your body standing up, or even feeling like pain. For example, you might walk into a room, and if there's like really negative or uneasy energy in the room, you might immediately get like sick to your stomach. You might feel like a pit in your stomach, or like I said, the hair on your body standing up. Also, Aries has really, really intense emotions. So you guys will get intuitive messages like through your emotions. So for example, you might like hear somebody say something that makes you like really, really angry, or really, really anxious, or really, really sad. And that's kind of like your intuition giving you those physical and emotional cues of like, maybe I shouldn't trust this person, or maybe this person has bad intentions, or, you can kind of see the truth behind what somebody says or does based on how it makes you physically and emotionally feel. Like I said, with Aries, you should really trust the first feelings, the first instinct, the first intuitive hits that you get, the first thing that comes to your mind, because that is kind of how your intuition and your psychic abilities speak to you. All right, so Taurus moons, you guys are all about the five senses, and Taurus is a really interesting sign because Taurus is the first earth sign of the zodiac. And so Taurus is kind of like a bridge Taurus is the bridge between the spiritual realm and the earthly realm, and you kind of connect to the two. And so because of that, one of the first magical abilities that Taurus has is the ability of manifestation. You guys can bring what is in like the energetic field into the earthly realm and have it actually be physically created. And Taurus is related to the throat chakra, so your words can literally manifest in the physical realm. So you guys are really powerful in that way. Since Taurus is related to the 5 physical senses, you guys will literally get psychic information through taste and through smell, even through touch, anything having to do with your 5 senses. Taurus will literally like be able to get a bad taste in their mouth for real if something is like off, if their intuition's trying to maybe warn them or like caution them about something. But you guys will also be able to psychically smell things, so you will smell something that like nobody else around you can smell, that will remind you of something or make you feel a certain way. It's kind of like your intuition just comes through your 5 senses. Taurus has a really strong connection with music, so you guys can really use music like in your manifestations. You guys can listen to music and kind of have it have a more powerful effect on you guys than some of the other signs. So using music to manifest, or even just listening to music in order to channel information. So like meditating to a certain music in the background will kind of like awaken your senses and awaken your psychic abilities and make the channel a lot clearer. Gemini moons. So Gemini is known as being a very psychic sign. A lot of the air signs do tend to be pretty psychic. You guys are ruled by Mercury, which is the mind's planet. It's all about communication. Like Gemini make really great journalists. You guys are really good at writing. So one of the things that Gemini is great at is automatic writing and then also scripting. So automatic writing would be a way that you channel information psychically. Basically, automatic writing is you don't really think. You literally just kind of get into like a meditative state or kind of like a trance or just like a really calm state, and then you just write whatever comes to mind. Some people will literally go into a trance and like not even pay attention to their hand. They'll just write. And literally there will be like, when you go to look back at it, you will have channeled like information, psychic information. So automatic writing is really cool, and Gemini moons are really great at that. And then you guys are also great at scripting. It's different than automatic writing, because automatic writing is when you want to channel information, but scripting is when you basically, it's kind of like writing a journal entry, but you write everything in the present tense. So if you were trying to manifest something into your life, like use the law of attraction, you guys can write like in present tense, write about your life, like as if you already had all those things that you want in the present tense, and it will happen. Like you will script it and it will come true. So scripting is a really common way to manifest, but Gemini moons and Geminis in general are really great at it. It kind of comes natural to you. Geminis are also usually claircognizant, which is clear knowing. The way claircognizance feels is it's like you get this random, out of nowhere, it's like a flash of insight, but you just get this like download of information into your brain and you know that it's true. And it's almost kind of like it makes perfect logical sense to you, but you bypassed all of the critical and logical thinking. Like you just kind of got to the end result and you just know. But you don't know how you know, like it just appeared in your mind. And Gemini also rules the hands and the nervous system. So as far as the hand goes, Geminis will be really great at any type of divination tool that involves your hands. So tarot cards, Geminis tend to kind of be a natural when it comes to tarot cards, anything that involves the hands. And then with you guys ruling the nervous system, that is also, you can just feel, right? So you clairsentience, so you can just kind of feel things, your nerves and your body will give off these intuitive hits. So yeah, Gemini does have quite a few psychic abilities. All right, next we have Cancer moons. So now we're getting into the water signs. The water signs are easily the most psychic of all signs. They are much more open, I guess, like open channels and just more in tune with their psychic abilities. It comes a little bit more natural to them. Now, Cancer moons, you guys are, first of all, you're empaths, okay? So an empath is somebody who can feel the feelings of a person, even an animal, as if it were your own feelings. So you will literally take on the emotions of another person. And it's because you guys are very in tune with emotions and energy. So sometimes you can even not be around somebody, but you could just think of somebody. If you kind of just have that person in your mind for a moment, you'll kind of just naturally be able to start like picking up on their emotions and feeling their emotions.
Please don't judge me.
The problem that an empath can run into, especially if you aren't aware that you have this psychic ability, is that you'll be in the dark. You will think that other people's emotions are your emotions, which can be incredibly draining, confusing, and overwhelming for like an unaware empath. It can be draining and confusing even for someone who knows they're an empath.
That's why I like playing other people talking about it,
up on the emotions
because
of
it's
other
like
people. So I'm sure you probably
it kind of removes me
like if you were talking to somebody who's going through a hard time, you probably will feel
responsibility of the
like you're literally in that person's shoes. You'll feel like whatever's happening to them is happening to you because you can feel their emotions so strongly.
I like it.
And you guys just have the gift of feeling. So this is clairsentience. It's clear feelings. So you can just feel things. You can feel the vibes, right?
Okay, let's start.
And so it's your gut
I turned up the volume. Hope you can hear me.
Trust your gut instinct. That's your intuition. That's your psychic abilities. You guys can pick up on very subtle and small energetic and emotional cues. You can tell by the way that somebody sends a text message if like their mood has completely changed, or if they're mad at you, or if something's bothering them. Like the smallest change in their behavior or the way that they act, you'll automatically know and be able to pick up on what's actually going on underneath the surface there. These abilities are your magical power. You can be an incredible healer. You can be just like a downright psychic. But the thing is, you do really need to kind of learn about it a little bit. If this sounds like you, and you're kind of like, oh shit, maybe I am psychic, I would definitely do a little bit of research, because it's really important for you guys to keep your energy grounded and protected and cleansed, because you guys need to be able to discern between what is yours and what is somebody else's. If that line gets blurred, it can be really, really draining and just like really emotionally overwhelming for a Cancer moon. So Leo moon, you guys are an interesting one because, so Leo is ruled by the sun. So you guys are kind of like the life force energy. You guys are all about energy. So one of the first magical powers that you guys have is the ability to shift and move energy, and like totally change and give and take energy. You're like an energy channeler. And so like one of your abilities is a Leo moon can walk into a room that is filled with like a bunch of really upset or sad people, and just by you walking into the room, your energy will lift the spirits of everybody else. You will literally transform the energy of a person or of a room. You can do this when it comes to like large groups of people. So you have a really powerful energy. You really uplift people with your energy, and you can really be like incredibly motivating for other people. You kind of give magic to other people because your energy is so powerful and it's just such a light. You're such a bright light. So that's definitely one of like your powers. Something I notice about Leo moons is that even Leo in general, they are the type of energy that whenever you're around them, you have that feeling like nothing bad's gonna happen. You know what I mean? Those people where you just feel like really positive around them. You kind of feel like good things always happen to them. Like they're always kind of in good spirits. Things just always seem like really positive. That is a Leo moon. So you guys, like I said, really uplift people with your energy. But on top of that, Leo is also all about creativity. So Leo, and with you guys being ruled by the sun, which has a lot to do with creation, you guys have the ability of creation. So manifestation, creating whatever it is that you want. You guys, if you can think about it, you can create it. You guys also rule the heart. And so the thing is, the heart and intuition go hand in hand. So when it comes to your intuitive abilities, pay attention to how something feels in your heart. So if your heart tells you to go one way, if your heart tells you that this is right, that is your intuition. Always, always follow your heart, because that is following a Leo's intuition. Leo does also rule the spine. And so with that, Leos tend to really be able to kind of psychically pick up on like if somebody's being honest, if somebody's acting from a place of integrity. You guys are really intuitive in that sense. You can just kind of tell when somebody has like good intentions or when they don't. Next we have Virgo moons. So Virgo is known as the healer in astrology, and Virgo is also very much related to health and to the physical body. So Virgos do have a very healing quality about them when it comes to like other people's health and other people's physical bodies, even your own. So something that would be like really good for a Virgo moon would be doing Reiki. So Reiki is energy work. It's moving and clearing and like removing blockages from somebody's like energetic aura, their energetic field. So you guys use your hands and different tools to move energy around. Virgo moons have a really strong ability when it comes to something like Reiki. Virgo is ruled by Mercury, so similar to Gemini, you guys do also have a very great psychic ability when it comes to automatic writing. So automatic writing is when you kind of get into like a meditative state or a trance, or you just like get really calm and you don't really use your logical mind, you just write whatever pops in your head. Some people will literally zone out and just write and not even be paying attention to what their hand is doing. And then when you go and look back on it, it will have channeled information. So you guys channel information through writing. And you guys are also very powerful when it comes to scripting. So scripting is a form of manifestation. So scripting is when you basically, let's say you want to manifest something into your life, you kind of like write a journal entry as if you already have that thing. Or if you want to create the life of your dreams, you will just like write a journal entry talking about your life as if it's in the present tense. So you literally script out what you want. You script out what you want your life to be like, and then that it will manifest. So scripting is a really powerful form of manifestation, and Virgos are really good at that. You guys also have kind of a magical touch when it comes to using different herbs, different like natural remedies, holistic remedies. You guys are an earth sign, you're very connected to the earth, so you guys would do really well with like witchcraft that involves like gardening and plants. So Virgo moons kind of have a natural knack when it comes to plants and herbs and the more natural remedies and holistic kind of like manifestation practices. And Virgos do, this is kind of an ironic thing about Virgos, is you guys are able to kind of heal people. Like you can heal physical ailments, okay, on yourself or other people, literally using your physical touch. But what's funny about that is a lot of Virgo moons, they really don't like when like people touch them. So you guys have this like healing ability in your hands almost, where like you could touch something and heal it, but it's just funny because you guys usually don't like physical touch very much, so maybe stick to Reiki. You don't really have to touch people when you do that. All right, so next we have Libra moon. So Libra is a pretty psychic sign. Libra is an air sign, and the air signs are usually very psychic, especially when it comes to being like logically psychic. So Libra moons, you guys, first of all, are very good at detecting lies. That's one of your psychic magical abilities. You can really read somebody so well. It's really obvious to a Libra when somebody's lying, like way more obvious than most signs. You guys aren't naive in that sense. Like you will see straight through a lie. You guys are the scale. You are all about balance and fairness and justice. So Libras can spot when something is off, like, right away. Because you guys really are so balanced in your approach. You really are really fair. So you'll see, like, both sides of the situation very fairly. You'll look at, like, every aspect of the situation. You're very well-rounded in that sense. So you guys have the ability to just spot right away when something is off, or
I wanted to
when
play
somebody is not acting fairly, when somebody's really not acting from like a place of integrity. You guys can spot it right away. Libras also get really, really strong gut instincts, and again, it's because you guys see everything from such a balanced point of view, so you can just immediately pick up on when something is off. And like your body and your mind and your emotions and like your whole being will just know right away. You guys should really trust your first instinct, because with a Libra moon, it's always right. The problem with Libra moon is because you guys are so fair and balanced, is that Libras will get like an intuitive feeling, and then you guys have to look at it from like all angles, because that's just what Libras do. So then that's when you can kind of become indecisive and like talk yourself out of things, because you'll start to look at it from every angle. You'll start to look at the other side. You'll start to look at it from a logical sense instead of just an intuitive sense. So it's really good if a Libra can learn to just trust their gut instinct.
Of the range of possible feelings.
The other thing too that I noticed about Libra, because you guys,
we're very
interestingly,
sensitive,
you know, you're the scale. You're the only sign in the zodiac that doesn't have a heartbeat. So because of that, you guys really do, again, have a very balanced perspective on life. You guys can look at things from like half logic and half intuition, and then make a really, really great assumption or decision on something. So you guys definitely have really intuitive abilities when it comes to just like your first instinct, your gut instinct, but you guys just need to kind of learn how to trust that. And Libra's magical power is, without a doubt, you guys are incredible problem solvers to the point where it's magical. Like, Libras make the most incredible like mediators, and you guys give incredible advice. You guys really see things from just a different perspective than other people. You just have this like insight that a lot of people don't have, because you're so fair, you're so balanced, so you make really, really great judgment calls. You will really be able to solve any problem. Like, you guys are just diplomats. Like, you're so fair, you're a problem solver, and that's definitely your magical ability. You have that ability so much stronger than any of the other signs. And so because of that, you guys do have like a healing energy about you, where you can really like balance somebody out. Like, if somebody is really like
don't really know the poses,
going one end of the spectrum, or like being too extreme this way, like, you guys just have this ability to just bring people back to like a balanced and like stabilized space. So you guys are really healing in that sense as well. All right, so Scorpio moons, you guys are, without a doubt, so Scorpios are one of the most psychic signs. The only sign that is more psychic than Scorpio is Pisces, and I really think there's a reason for that, which we're going to get to that in a moment. But you guys are true magicians. First of all, you guys have the magical ability of alchemy. You guys can turn a pile of dirt into diamonds. Like, you guys are the most phenomenal transformers. You guys can transform energy. But one of the most powerful abilities and psychic abilities that Scorpio moons have is you guys are similar to Libra, but even more intensely, you guys are human lie detectors. You guys see through everything. You can spot a lie from a mile away. You guys also see like everything that is hidden is very obvious to a Scorpio moon. You guys see through illusions, you guys see through lies, you see through deceit. And when it comes to people, you guys can literally see straight through somebody, like into their soul, and see the truth of who somebody is. It's a really powerful ability that Scorpio, especially Scorpio moons, have. Scorpios are empaths. Scorpios are no stranger to emotions and heavy emotions and darkness. So you guys, because of that, you understand emotions in a way that a lot of other signs don't. So you guys can really put yourself in somebody else's shoes. If you don't know what an empath is, it's someone who is so sensitive and in tune with energy that you guys can literally feel someone else's emotions as if it were your own emotions. It's literally like you stepped into that person's shoes. The other thing with Scorpios, and this is something that's probably like very specific to Scorpios, is that you guys have unbelievably powerful minds, okay? So when it comes to manifestation, you guys have an ability to just instantly manifest whatever is in your head. Whatever you can think will literally come true. But the thing with this is you guys are so powerful that you need to be aware of the thoughts that you're like projecting, because you guys are just as powerful when it comes to manifesting good things as when it comes to manifesting bad things. So Scorpio moons can sometimes like find themselves almost performing black magic without realizing it. Like if you think about something bad happening to somebody, like you could literally make it happen. So you guys are insanely powerful when it comes to your mind. Scorpio moons are the type of people who will think something or say something and then literally an hour later it will happen. And Scorpio moons are also known for having very like strong magical powers when it comes to anything that is occult. So you guys do really well with witchcraft, with magic, with tarot cards, with any type of divination. Now, the problem with Scorpio moons and Scorpio in general, and this is why I'm saying you guys are one of the most psychic signs, but not the most psychic sign, because something that is kind of naturally a part of Scorpio's DNA is that you guys tend to suffer from paranoia. Scorpios are very paranoid. Scorpios tend to, and of course, you know, it depends on the type of person you are, what else is in your chart, and the experiences that you've been through in life, but Scorpios tend to really have a hard time like trusting anything and anyone. Like you guys are always on the fence about things, you're always paranoid, you're always like looking over your shoulder. And so the problem with that is that you actually block your psychic abilities when you are paranoid like that. So you kind of like cut off the connection, you kind of like cut off the channel, because you guys are so paranoid that it kind of just, it blocks your psychic abilities from being as strong as they naturally are. So that's something to look out for, is to just pay attention to how powerful your mind is. And then also that, you know, you could really be like hindering your psychic abilities by your own fears, your own paranoia, your own inability to trust. Right, Sagittarius moon, so you guys have a very specific magical power that, you know, anyone can do this, but this is something that comes natural to a Sagittarius moon, and that is the gift and the ability of astral projection. So if you do not know what astral projection is, if you have ever had sleep paralysis, which if you're a Sagittarius moon, I'm assuming that you've probably experienced this quite a bit. Sleep paralysis is kind of like how astral projection begins. And so essentially what's happening is your consciousness is detaching and exiting your physical body, which might sound crazy, but it's not. Our consciousness is a total separate entity from our physical body. Our physical body is just the vessel that our consciousness uses to travel and explore on the earthly plane when we are going through the human experience. So when your consciousness leaves your body, you have the ability to astral project and astral travel. So your consciousness leaves your body and you can literally travel around. Like you can travel around the earthly plane, you can go to other dimensions, you can like travel around like people's dream states even. And the other thing too is that when you astral travel, you can time travel. Like you can travel to the future, you can travel to the past, because it all exists at once. The future and the past like technically doesn't exist. Everything is just in the now, but you can time travel and literally travel around to other dimensions. You can travel in this dimension but just to another location. So that is a magical power that Sagittarius has. This is another one of the reasons why Sagittarius is known for traveling. You guys don't just travel on a plane, you literally astral project out of your body and travel that way. Sagittarius is a sign that tends to be like naturally kind of spiritually advanced. Of course, it depends on the person. Some people aren't going to explore the spiritual aspect of themselves as much as others. And Sagittarius will kind of, the energy of expansion and philosophy and higher learning that Sagittarius is all about, it can manifest in different ways. So there's going to be some Sagittarius moons that are a lot more like magical, and some are going to be a little bit more practical, a little more grounded in like the earthly realm. But you guys also have the ability of moving energy around. So this is similar to Leo in the sense that you guys can walk into a room and immediately completely change and transform the energy in that room. So when a Sagittarius moon walks into a room, you can feel their presence, you can feel their energy. You guys are really optimistic and you are really like exciting to be around. You tend to make people feel like really motivated, really excited, really upbeat, high energy. So you guys have the ability to shift and move and change and transform energy. A psychic ability that Sagittarius has too is that you guys are clairvoyant in the sense that you guys will have psychic dreams. A lot of Sagittarius moons have very psychic dreams that not only do you experience these psychic dreams, but Sagittarius moons tend to be really good at interpreting their dreams. So there's a lot of people who will have clairvoyant dreams, but they won't really be able to interpret it or make sense of it. So you guys are really great when it comes to dream interpretation. Right, so moving on to Capricorn moon. So Capricorn moon, your guys' magical ability really is, it lies in the power of the mind. So even though you guys are an earth sign, not an air sign, you guys still have this strength when it comes to your mind. So a Capricorn moon has a magical ability to accomplish literally anything that you put your mind to. There is like no obstacle too big for a Capricorn moon. You guys have endurance and you guys can just push ahead and make things happen in a way that a lot of other signs can't. And because you are an earth sign, you do have the gift of creation, so that kind of goes hand in hand with what I was saying. You guys are really good when it comes to manifestation. So if you want something, you can make it happen just by deciding that you want it. Just by deciding that it's going to happen, you will make it happen. Capricorn moons are also old souls. I've never met a Capricorn moon, or a Capricorn for that matter, that isn't an old soul. So because of this, you guys have a lot of really unmatched wisdom, and you guys are incredibly nurturing. You're probably somebody that people come to for advice. You probably give very sound advice. And because you are an old soul, you just have incredible insights when it comes to anything and everything. You guys have an energy about you that is incredibly grounding. Capricorn is a very grounded sign, but so you guys can be really grounding for other people. So if other people are feeling like really anxious or really unbalanced, if they're feeling like their emotions are kind of just like out of whack, if they're feeling a little bit unstable, being around a Capricorn moon will kind of like immediately ground that person and calm them down. And then also because you guys are old souls, you're incredibly relatable. So you guys are just really well-rounded individuals, and it comes very natural to you. You probably don't even really realize or acknowledge the extent of which you calm and ground and offer insight and wisdom to other people. It really is a magical ability that Capricorn moons have. And then the psychic ability that Capricorn moons have is the ability of precognition. So you guys have this ability to kind of see what's going to happen in the future because of the fact that Capricorn is a natural planner, okay? Like you guys have this ability of planning. And so this psychic ability is going to become stronger as you get older and you go through life experiences. But because you guys are so good at planning and strategizing and like kind of seeing the path to how you're going to climb up, you know, you're the mountain goat. So you guys can see a clear path of how you're going to get somewhere. Because of that, you guys can really sense when something's gonna go wrong or when something's not gonna work. So like a Capricorn moon will be really, really intuitive when it comes to business, when it comes to finances. You guys can kind of spot like business trends from a mile away. You can kind of anticipate what is just gonna happen in the future, not only with business, but with anything really. But yeah, Capricorn moons definitely have this ability to just kind of like be 2 steps ahead all the time. All right, Aquarius moon. So Aquarius moon is a very psychic sign. I would say you're probably the most psychic out of the air signs, I would say. And Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, and Uranus is actually the planet that rules astrology. It's also the planet that really kind of like breaks the status quo. Aquarius is an incredibly innovative sign. Aquarius does not like tradition. You guys are very out of the box. You guys are full of ideas. Now, on top of that though, Aquarius, because it is an air sign, you guys have this ability to analyze and observe like nobody else, okay? So that's part of where your intuition comes in, is that you can pick up on extremely small and subtle cues because you analyze the shit out of everything. So if something is changed or different or off, you can spot it right away. Aquarius is also a sign that is like very great when it comes to like science and math, but so that's kind of like when it comes to astrology, like you guys would be really talented when it comes to understanding astrology and using astrology like to make predictions and stuff, because you guys are so good at analyzing. So you could analyze like a transit chart, you could analyze a natal chart, and you would have just kind of like a natural knack for stuff like that. You guys also have the ability to read people like a book, and again, this has to do with your observant and analytical approach at life. You guys are just like, Aquarius is really smart. Like it's a really smart energy, but in a more innovative way. So you guys aren't the type of smart where it's just like you got straight A's. Like, no, you guys are like actually smart. You know what I mean? Minds that just like expand and are filled with ideas and are incredibly creative and incredibly unique and eccentric and unusual. So you guys really do like have an ability when it comes to a lot of different like metaphysical things. Like I said, such as astrology. You guys would do good with tarot cards. There's a lot of Aquarius moons that are really great tarot readers. You guys have a lot of metaphysical, magical abilities. You might not know this, but you do have the capability of it. And as a result of everything I just said, you guys are also, you have a natural ability to predict the future. And that might be because you will like look at past events and then analyze how it played out, and you'll make a prediction that way. Or you will look at something that is like more mathematical, you'll be able to make a prediction that way. Or even like with science, you guys would be able to make like scientific predictions. So Aquarius is a really interesting sign. You guys are just like downright intuitive. There's a reason why, you know, we're going into the age of Aquarius, and so people are saying like astrology and Reiki healers and tarot readers and witches is like gonna be the new thing when we're in the age of Aquarius. And it's because that's just kind of like your guys' realm in a lot of ways. All right, so lastly, we've got Pisces moon. Now, I am a Pisces moon, and I actually want to chat with you guys about this. I'm glad Pisces is last because I can talk a little bit longer with you guys. So, okay, Pisces moons is number one, and I'm not saying this because I'm biased. You could ask any professional astrologer out there, they'll tell you this. Pisces, especially Pisces moon, is the most psychic of the signs. Pisces is known for being psychic, for being clairvoyant, for being mediums. Pisces is the 12th sign of the zodiac, ruled by Neptune. This is the sign that is closest to the other side. So Pisces is very much connected to the spiritual realm. You guys are farthest away from the earth, and you're more up in the spiritual dimension of things. Now, the thing though with Pisces is that it definitely is going to depend on what else is in your chart. Because if you're a Pisces moon with a lot of water or a lot of other psychic placements, then you're going to for sure be incredibly psychic, and you're probably going to know it. Like, it's going to be really obvious to you and unexplainable. The only way to explain it is that you're psychic. Now, for some of you, you might have like a lot of earth in your chart. That's going to influence your Pisces moon because like an earth sign is incredibly grounded, very grounded in the earth and in the real world, and not so much on Neptune. And so for some people, like I said, they're gonna know that they're very psychic, and for some Pisces moons, it's not gonna be quite as obvious. You might not even think you're psychic. But I have met quite a few Pisces moons in my day, and let me tell you, every single one of them is clairvoyant. So let's start with that. Pisces moons, you guys are clairvoyant. What this means is clear seeing. A lot of the times the way that clairvoyance actually happens is through dreams. So you will have psychic dreams. I can't tell you how many times I've heard a Pisces moon tell me that they dreamt about somebody and then bumped into them 2 days later. Or even just that they thought of them, because clairvoyance can just be an image in your mind, kind of like as if you were watching a movie in your mind. You'll see something happen in your mind and then it will happen in real life. And a lot of times I see a lot of Pisces moons who don't realize that this is a psychic ability. They will disregard it and think it's a coincidence. Pisces is also a sign that is very capable of being a medium. A lot of Pisces are mediums, which is communicating with the other side. Pisces is really kind of psychic in every single way. So clairvoyant, you could be a medium, you're definitely an empath, which means you can feel the feelings, the emotions of other people as if it were your own. You can feel the energy in a room, you can even feel the energy of an animal. You're very, very sensitive to energy. And again, sometimes Pisces moons don't realize that they have these abilities. So I'm here to tell you that you are psychic AF, okay? Like, even if you don't have other psychic placements, if you're a Pisces moon, you have these abilities. Pisces are also clairsentient, which is clear feeling. So again, you just feel things, you know things, you can sense things. So Pisces moon is without a doubt the most psychic out of all of the moon signs. Pisces are so psychic because Pisces are really open, okay? So I was talking to like the Scorpio moons earlier. Scorpio is a really psychic sign too, but Scorpio battles with paranoia, which blocks their psychic abilities. Pisces doesn't have that hindering them. Pisces are very energetically open, and like I said, it's because you're so close to the other side. You're right on the veil to the spirit realm when you're in Pisces. You guys have abilities that are just so natural that what I find is a lot of Pisces moons will tell me that like they have these crazy coincidences and these crazy experiences. I had a Pisces moon friend tell me once, he said, he was talking about this girl that he liked, and he said, I can feel what she feels. And I laughed and I was like, I've never heard a more Pisces moon thing in my life. But the thing is, because Pisces are so psychic that they think it's the norm for everybody, okay? Pisces don't realize that most other people don't have that ability. They aren't as in touch with energy and emotions. So yeah, a lot of times Pisces will overlook their magical powers because it's so natural to them that they don't even realize that they have it. They don't even realize that it's unusual and that it is magic and that it is psychic abilities. So yeah, basically to wrap it up, Pisces moon, you guys are just psychic in all areas of existence. So you can feel things, you can see things, you just know things, you dream things, and then it happens. But I would say probably the most common and the most obvious thing for a Pisces moon is you are an empath. So you can feel the emotions of other people. You can just pick up on the energy of a room. You can put yourself in somebody else's shoes and know exactly how they feel. This is why it is so important for Pisces to cleanse and protect their own energy, because Pisces moons are sponges. So without even realizing it, you'll pick up the emotions of somebody else. That's why it's really important for a Pisces moon to be aware of the magic and the psychic abilities that they possess. Because if you're not aware, you can get really confused, really drained, and really overwhelmed. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up there for my Pisces moons. All right, you guys, that wraps it up for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Share this video with somebody that you know. Let me know if you have the psychic abilities that your moon sign says you should. So thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.
divine Venus. She's very good.
Hi guys, my name is Alyssa and welcome back to my channel. This video is about how everybody has a psychic ability, but before I begin, I want you to know that this video is sponsored by Keen. Keen is a great place to actually get your psychic reading. So I don't do readings anymore, but I understand that people want one-on-one readings, and Keen is a really great place to do that. I find that I can't just recommend one person. Sometimes you really need to follow your own intuition, and just the interface of Keen, it makes it very easy to follow your intuition. You can say, you know, just like guess, like, I want to talk to this kind of person. I want to talk to a medium or an empath, and you can start feeling that, and then you'll get a bunch of pictures of these different psychics, and you get to feel out which one is better, and they have all the reviews, and it's just very easy. And once you put in all of your information and then you pick which psychic you want to talk to, you just say call, and they call you, and then connects you to that psychic that you chose, and it just makes it really easy. In fact, I have my friends, you know, I'll tell them certain things, and I'll channel information for them, and I'll do my tarot talks, and I'll do my astrology for them, and it's not always like good coming from me, like as their friend. Sometimes you just need a second opinion from that same sort of vibe in that realm, and I will tell them to call Keen. Hi guys, I just got done talking to a psychic at Keen. I like to call them kind of regularly, like a little life destiny checkup, make sure that I'm told that you have to do all these rules and structures, and look at a God that doesn't actually even exist inside the structure that we exist in, and it makes life suck. It takes the mystery out of life. It takes our spirituality out of our bodies. It takes us out of our bodies. We are walking zombies because life sucks so bad. Our psychic ability is not something free-floating that we can choose from our aura. This is actually something that is in our core and our body. Each of the signs definitely represent a different form of psychic ability, and there are different ways to reach inside of yourself and to gather them and to gather this information and to really help yourself become more psychically aware, and just figuring out like what it was about our connection to our life that we left. You can find your sign below. You can look for your sun, moon, rising, whatever you feel led to. Use your intuition to figure out which one you want to view first, and just click the timestamp and go there and hear about yourself. Anyway, let's get through this. So Aries. Aries are psychically aware, and like it definitely is more in your mind. Man. It's the ramp, so you like to hit things immediately, and this has to do a lot with your intuition, not necessarily your gut feeling, which is lower, but your intuition, which is part of you, and maybe even like your third eye, stuff that you can just see and you just know. What this can be called is maybe 5 sessions cognizant, now. I turned up the volume on the information just sort of flows into like an open vessel in your head.
I've done it for about 5 sessions now, and now I would say I'm starting to get a little more comfortable.
Be willing to open your eyes to see it, and so there are things that you can do to get this better, and that would be to drink only spring water, because fluoride, calcifies your third eye. There would be things like challenging yourself by competing with people who are much higher in much higher fields than you are. You know, Aries are naturally competitive, but when you're spending too much time competing with people in lower areas, you're putting yourself into a lower position. Yeah, man, and Aries definitely needs to try to run up mountains, not go into valleys and lose themselves in there. Another thing to do would be to try to reach out and, you know, figure out your relationship with your mother and father. Aries tend to be isolated or independent for certain reasons, and sometimes it can be through trauma and feeling like you weren't loved that much, you were isolated from love, and just being loved, you get that closer empathic connection to things where you can just know certain things. But dude, that takes, you know, to be able to look back and to be able to say, you know, I didn't feel loved in this moment. I felt very disconnected from love. Love is the greatest power of all, and it is connection to things that you can't explain. And so if you've lost out on that love, you could be losing part of your connection to your, I mean, just to make your life happier, because psychic awareness makes your life happier when it's utilized correctly, and when you can get back to that childlike state. Anyway, that is Aries, and I will talk to you later.
My bench back up again. Nice. Dad's getting there.
Okay,
nice.
Hi, Taurus. This is for you. So, Taurus, because you are the five senses, you are.
All the
what is that? What are all the five senses?
The bone is
seeing,
kind of
tasting, touching, smelling, hearing. 3 types of psychic abilities that Taurus has: clear sentience, clear gustance, and clear olfactance. Now, clear sentience is being able to sense things through emotions and feelings. Okay, so this actually ramps up if your moon is in Taurus and not just your sun. There's a lot of feelings and emotions. That means your gut instinct kind of leads you, but there's still that connection to the physical surroundings that you have even in your sun sign or your rising sign. Another thing you can do is this clear gustance. It's being able to taste things without physical contact. A lot of Taurus placements, they just know if they're not going to like something. They don't have to actually taste it. You could experience chocolate cake without ever having to eat the chocolate cake, which means that actually some Tauruses can remain pretty skinny because they just think about food and they're like, that's good, I got it. And the other one, clear olfactance, is that's about like smelling something. Okay, like a Taurus placement could smell a rose of Sharon, you know, something that beautiful, good smells that come over you, or they could smell
things
on people that are evil that no one else can smell. Like they might say, that person has a smell of sulfur, you know, which is like something really evil, the devil. And it's like, what? They don't smell like anything to me. Why is it? Because they're aware of the smell, and it just has something that triggers their senses in a different way, to the point where like people might think they're crazy smelling it. So you have those abilities, but you have to be connected to your pleasure senses. You have to be connected to your senses. So those are the main ones that you have. But if you're not connected to your pleasure senses, if you're not connected to your body and your self-love and your giving of yourself to other people, you're going to be the one who sort of got too much toxicity inside of you to even be able to experience when somebody else is toxic. If a Taurus placement can just experience toxicity and smell it a mile away, then they wouldn't spend too much time around it. They wouldn't have to get to know somebody. So like all of a sudden you're able to really see how that psychic ability can affect your life in a positive way, just by detaching from things that you can't physically be around because you are so aware of your senses. That is Taurus. I'll take you later, guys. Bye.
Stopping, yo.
Bye. Okay, Gemini. So Gemini is highly psychic in a mental route. Okay, you also are like Gemini is a hand. Like a lot of Geminis have healing capabilities in their power. Your hands are just like so special to you because of that. Geminis require
I'm not 205, I weigh 185.
Learning. They desire to learn because they want to know more. They want to try to expand their mind. But what happens is because they are the lower mind, where Sagittarius, even Aquarius are like higher mind. So it actually does not really help the Gemini to focus on meditating out here. I know that might sound weird, but because they waste a lot of time up there. Their natural skill and power is here in looking down. They look down into a book, connecting to people and communicating and working with their hands and healing. Why on earth are they going to spend time in isolation alone and looking up? Getting into psychic stuff, you have to understand that there are good and bad things floating around you, and Geminis just have to be able to protect themselves this way. And they are much better at divining with tarot cards and oracle cards. Cards in general, they are very good at divining. When they see a card, they immediately know. Their knowledge is put into the cards. Like, I just think that Gemini has so much power in reading anything when it's down here. The cards don't lie to them. And it's just very bad for a Gemini to check out of reality, even though they're constantly being told that they should. Which is like, why would you take away somebody's power? And Gemini shouldn't have their power taken away in that sense. So anytime that Mercury people, Gemini people can connect to Gaia, to Earth, to feminine aspects, which is looking down, it serves them so much better. And that's when they can really heal and they can really give these divine messages out to the world. Anyway, that is Gemini, and I will talk to you later. Okay, bye. Okay, hi guys, this is for Cancer. Now, Cancer, you guys are naturally a very psychic sign. Most Cancers are still aware of their psychic ability. Maybe not so much male Cancers, but I do think you feel a little bit different than your masculine peers throughout your life. A lot of Cancers find humor as they separate from their psychic childhood because they experience a lot of hurt and pain and loss because their needs are not being met. We don't understand totally, but the moon is our needs, where our sun is our wants. So when you are born of the moon, you are born with extra needs and a definite like understanding of your needs. So when somebody doesn't understand them, it feels like a direct affront to who you are as a human person.
It's so
and
stable
it hurts
until you're
really
not,
bad. And so you feel that deeper, which starts making you not want to go so deep, which makes you more sensitive to what's happening. And you kind of sit there trying to tread water a lot. And if you're treading water, you're not experiencing your psychic power anymore. And you have the ability to have great psychic power, which means reading people. You have a lot of the clear sentience too, where you can physically feel people, pick up their emotions and their feelings. You just connect to another person. You can tell when someone is sad, even if you've never met them, even if they're far away from you, just by looking at them. Cancers know they're being fed this information because they're meant to heal it in a nurturing mother type way. Definitely related to Gaia a lot, like in a close connection to her. If you want to be able to connect back into that, you have to be able to go deep into your emotions again and feel them and weed out the evil that has attacked you in your life, that has caused you trauma, has caused you pain, the rejection that you felt. You have to look at it and say, wow, I survived without forgetting it. I'm in touch with my emotions. I understand my emotional core in my center, and now I am free to really be able to understand people. If somebody is coming at you with malicious intent, it helps you know if you're going to be hurt later. It helps you know if you should be in a relationship with somebody. It teaches you, it shows you things. So being in touch with this allows you to see people for who they truly are before they even get in your sphere.
Thanks, buddy.
Which allows you to not be hurt as much as you once were. But the thing is, it's like a catch-22. You don't want to be hurt anymore, so you shut yourself off. You don't go down there anymore. But in reality, now you're closed off, so you're getting into positions. You're not trusting your feelings. You're getting into positions that are going to hurt you even more, so then you get more and more shallow, and then you're living outside of the power of your body, the power of your water, the clear sense that you have to be able to see something like that from far away and know immediately if you can trust it, or if it's really hurting, or if you are capable of healing it in this place where you are right now. Put on those planes going down, secure your life mask before you secure that of your child. Losing that psychic awareness is what makes you end up being a shell of yourself. Anyway, that is you, Cancer. Okay. Hi, Leo. This is your psychic ability. Now, Leos are the heart, the lion's heart, and in that way they're kind of like warriors. This can mean that most Leos that you come in contact to are damaged. Why? Because we live in a society where parents are divorced, where fathers are not in their child's life, where mothers are working and not there. As much as I'm not trying to shame parents and families for doing that, but love is dead before the Leo even opens its eyes. Therefore, the Leo is hurt at a very young age. That the Leo is hurt at a very young age, that the Leo believes that this love, their heart, that they're not being loved, they will start acting out, which will make them receive negative attention, which is how they then live their life trying to gain negative attention, playing a victim role, or just being depressed and sad, and then acting out in crazy ways just to receive a little bit of attention over actual real love. And so the best thing that a Leo can do is first be aware of the fact that love died in their life, but it is not dead inside of them. They still have a beating heart that can love, and to understand that and to tell themselves that they are love and they are pure love, and that their main goal in life is to get down into that pure love and to feel it, and to see when it was rejected and know that it wasn't its fault. I think it's important to know like when love was its fault and when the Leo started to act out, where things started becoming their fault. So when they started inviting the negative attention into their life that they ultimately don't like because it's not for them. The sun is positive light and love, and they are ruled by that. So it's about them healing that part so that there is nothing but goodness coming from them. Now, once you do that, the Leo energy is prophecy.
Social support, and Twitch has really helped me with that with my mental health.
It's being able to know what's going to happen next. Why is this? Because the sun and the light sees everything and can light up the dark future. There's nothing darker than the future, but there's nothing brighter than the sun. And that heart that leads you, it guides you, it knows. Why? Because we live in a position of time, but love surrounds time. Love is greater than time. And if you are ruled by this Leo love, this lion's heart, you know what's going to come next. You see the circle of life, like Lion King, right? So you have the premonitions, you have the dreams, you have the ability to prophesize, but you only can get there when you're leading in love. Otherwise, you do lead people into the dark. You're a natural leader. You lead people into the dark. You don't know what you want to follow. It is negative energy, so it goes negative, which is into the valley, and it's down. And the Leo is about going straight. Some signs are more negative, like you're supposed to look down. The Leo energy is supposed to look straight ahead and to have the heart guide them in that way and live in the moment. You live in the moment because you know what's going to happen next. So you know exactly where you need to be, and they can lead with love and glory and get that attention that they really want, but not in a negative way, in a really beautiful way. Be able to go to sleep every night happy because they see what's going to come tomorrow. That is your Leo. Talk to you later. Okay, hi Virgo, this is for you. So now Virgo is ruled by Mercury, and just like Gemini, which I already spoke about, but you may not have gone there. Geminis need to focus down. It's Mercury is down. Virgos, I would like them to look straight. You see, Virgos are pragmatic and analytical and logical, just like the Gemini. The Gemini has the hands in this more feeling ability, which you actually would think a Virgo has, but Virgo has more of a guiding light to their mercurial balance, something that pulls them forward, and they don't have to look like a zombie, right? That's oh my god. And because they're going to be like zombies. That's weird. I wasn't even going to say that, but that makes sense to me now. Like a Virgo who is not in touch with their childlike spirit, who has lost their psychic ability, is a zombie, because they are being called naturally straightforward. Do this, get yourself in line, get information, because Beyonce is a Virgo. It's just naturally organized straight into the next day, into the next life, into the next world.
Your moon sign in astrology.
Going.
Or I guess your sign in
you have to be able to utilize that energy. I wouldn't say don't look up, don't look down, keep looking straight.
Instincts,
but allow your body to stop and feel before you move into the next day. Otherwise, you are on a grind, and you're losing yourself, which is a little less interesting than the moon, which is a little more specific. And not stopping every day to enjoy your life. But she's incorporating the moon into you probably lost some of your enjoyment of life because you realize how much work it takes to live life. You don't have time. If you're actually doing everything that you need to do in a day to take care of yourself, you are spending all of your time working on things. You're spending your time calling people, running errands, paying bills, taking care of your body, taking your medicine and your vitamins, and you're eating the right food and going shopping. All those things, they just keep piling up because you have to do all of those to live your life correctly, right? And the Virgo needs to understand that it's not about that. Sometimes it's about enjoying yourself in the moment, and as a kid you probably did have the power to do that, but you lost it because you saw how crappy your life can be if you let things get out of order. And once you are able to sit and be still, this is when you have what is called like second sight. Now if you watch Stranger Things, you know about second sight. You're gonna have past understanding, future understanding. You can remote view. There's a part of you that can experience all things as one inside of your own body. You can know what came before and what's to be and what is on the opposite side of the world. And you know that because it's being fed through the earth to you while you walk. So you are getting data from the earth that thousands of years old and is 1,000 years in the future.
Wow,
to the
like
point that it can help you relax on a day-to-day basis, because you do know everything. But it also will help you figure out what to do, like what the most important details of the day are, and so you can forgo the rest because you know you're okay and you're safe. And this allows you to be nurturing for everyone else around you too, so that they can also be safe and that you can take care of them.
I've never heard of it. I never looked into it.
It also helps you lead people in the right direction, so that you know, like, if you go this route, like we've been there before, I can feel that you need to go this way. And if you can remote view, you can see if somebody is struggling and you can rise to meet them. And you can spend some of your time making a difference and being the hero that I know that Virgos want to be. Not is your Virgo.
These are the only masses of gravity within our solar system.
So a long time ago in a galaxy far away, when I used to do YouTube before I quit and came back, I used to be really active on Facebook.
I think it's just ignorant to
I had a conversation with people because people got mad in one of my videos where I said Libra is one of the most psychic signs.
I'm not going to show a video to try to convince anyone.
People were really upset with me. Libra is air and it's flighty and basic and everything. But I think people are kind of more aware of things now. But it definitely seemed that people didn't get this. Libra is very psychic, and it will always be psychic, because Libra is one of the only signs that does not lose their psychic power as they get older. You have a Libra placement, you're probably still psychic. People lose their psychic power. So yes, a Scorpio or Pisces or a Cancer placements are going to be much more psychic than a Libra. The problem is that they lose it immediately because it hurts, because it's painful, because they cut off from their childhood. A Libra doesn't cut off from their childhood. One, because they remember everything. Two, because they live for other people. So what are they doing all the time? Trying to figure out what other people want to become that. How do they do that? They use their powers, and they never lose them. What are their powers? Libras have powers of being mediums, like channeling spiritual energy, as well as clear audience, being able to hear things that nobody else can hear. So these are like, I'm talking about, you got voices in your head. Libras have voices in their head. They are in tune and they are listening, always listening. So even if they're not listening to you, they're listening to something else. Something is talking to them because it's air. So they hear a lot.
I don't know, man. I don't know if it's that big.
And they hear a lot of things coming from a lot of different places, crazy, and it makes them very interested in it. Most Libras are more likely and willing to get into the occult or astrology because they feel connected to those kind of things, because they call out to them, and again, they hear. Libras don't lose their ability to do this over time because they feel like it connects them to other people, so they can know more about other people.
But yeah,
they enjoy channeling information, they enjoy listening to information, and they like to speak about it too, so they're consistently exchanging it. There are other placements inside of you, you can tell what
planet
probably was affected by the trauma, but to be honest, this is almost heightened with the trauma. And so what I would tell a Libra and any Libra placement is that you don't need to know everything. Sometimes you need to cut out the voices in your head. You don't need to obsess over them. You don't need to keep channeling for everybody. You don't have to channel for yourself. Sometimes you can just rest your brain.
I'm more of a biologist.
Because what happens to a Libra is that their trauma and abuse and their feelings of not being loved make them go after people even more to prove how much they love them, to give them exactly what they need so that they love them back. And all they're doing is wearing themselves out and running themselves ragged to the point where they pass out or become depressed or have a lot of anxiety because they're hearing too much. So with Libras, I would say just cut off the channel flow every once in a while. Just allow it, but at least be able to label it, label what you're doing, label what you're hearing and feeling, and cut off the gravy train to your brain. You don't need it all the time. Sometimes you just need to go down in your gut and you need to feel. And that is Libra, and I will talk to you later. Okay, bye. Okay, Scorpio, I know probably this is going to be the most viewed part of here. I know every one of my Scorpio videos is viewed 1,000,000 times over, more so than everybody else. I can't even say that because I don't have 1,000,000 views on my Scorpio videos, but they're just much more viewed. I'm an exaggerator. Scorpio is very psychic, and unlike a lot of the other signs, they don't necessarily lose their psychic power over time unless they get angry. Now you see, I just finished Libra. Libra never loses it, even when they become angry. They don't lose their psychic power. Scorpios will lose their psychic power if they allow their emotional trauma to make them angry. If Scorpio is not angry, Scorpio can still be psychic, but trauma definitely does trigger their anger. Scorpio is also co-ruled by Mars, not just Pluto, but both of them. Pluto is the underworld, Hades. It takes them down into the depths of despair. When they get angry, they get so fiery and hot, they run out of the water. And once you're out of the water, you're out of your psychic ability. So you need to go back down there, cool off. And every time the Scorpio cools off, they get the premonitions, they get what they're supposed to do, they get their psychic ability back. And so you don't ever lose it. Nobody really ever truly loses their psychic ability, but especially the Scorpio, all you gotta do is cool off, and it's back. And the big power that Scorpio has is their telepathy. They can read thoughts, they can read minds, they can transfer thoughts with their mind. What happens to the Scorpio, like immediately they get angry and they no longer read the thoughts of another person. It just does that. They just stop. They don't know what other people are thinking or doing or feeling or saying, and it triggers the Scorpio to keep getting more and more hot. So that's why Scorpio just needs to cool off, and then they all of a sudden they are aware of the other person, they see and they understand the other person, they know what the other person is going to say before they say it. But yeah, again, any anger takes all of that away, and then they end up looking silly. Like, you're going to say this, and reading between these lines, and you're like, that wasn't true at all. Yet they're sure it was, because they know they have that power. It's just gone and lost. You have to be cool. You have to be cold. The ocean is cold. The underworld is cold. If you are hot, if you are raging, you are up here, you're being Marsy, you're going out into that direction. And that is why Scorpio is no longer ruled by Mars, it's ruled by Pluto, because it's not about being hot-headed, it's about going down and being cool. Hades is cool. It's cool. Scorpio is about sex and passion and desire, and when passion is taken away by a love of their life, say you have a love of your life, but you realize in that relationship it was sort of antagonistic, that other person was unstable, unnecessary in your life. Maybe you thought you were going to save that person, but they were just a bad mess, a ball of fire, and you felt like that was passion. You knew that was love. And so after they're gone, they take that part with them. And the only way you can sort of get that passion back is to get angry. So you tend to then, when people you love the most, get angry at the most, because that's how you're experiencing your passion. So it's very important to figure out who took your passion. I know that's very specific, but I've seen this with a lot of Scorpios. Their passion is lost with their first love. They don't have it anymore. They get more and more passionless as they get older and older. And you have to go back into the underworld and find out who took your passion. You need to label it. You can say goodbye to that person because you realize that they were actually being held hostage down inside of you, in your emotional center, in your core of your earth, of your body, and hanging out there for you to remember how much you hate them. So you gotta let them go, but you have to give them a kiss goodbye. That's how they leave. And that helps you be cool, which helps you maintain your telepathy. And I just feel like the telepathy is the Scorpio's greatest gift, and they shouldn't want to lose that. Anyway, that is your Scorpio. I'll talk to you later. Hi Sagittarius, this is for you. This is how you get your psychic powers back, right? Because you're Zeus.
It has to be. It must be.
Zeus is Jupiter.
Otherwise, the universe
Sagittarius. This is all about expanding your mind, living outside. So you do have the power of the aura, the power of everything living above you. I kind of always imagine you just wear a crown of planets on your head because you are
at the Big Bang,
super in tune. But at the same time, you're also the centaur, the archer. You're connected to the earth.
All entropy has been reached.
There's a part of you that is very animalistic and earth-like, which means that you need balance. And I don't know if Sagittarius, you get told that a lot, that balance is important. You can't just live in the consciousness, you also have to live in earth, because that's where you get your stability, that's how you get your luck. Because Sagittarius is the sign of luck and blessings. But are you lucky? Are you blessed? You might not be embracing sort of that feminine side of you, that divine feminine part of you that is your body. So even masculine men, you can embrace your masculinity in the earth, as well as experiencing your your power in this consciousness area. And so a big psychic power that you have, besides just that, to be connected to all things and just kind of be tuned in and tapped in, so you know what to do next. Like, so you have the power to be able to do whatever you need to do and to make it successful. You also have the ability to read auras, which is to understand and tap into energy fields around any certain person, around yourself, other people. Being able to read the energy surrounding someone's body gives you a lot of power over them and with them, and to be able to utilize the correct people in your endeavors, which just brings more luck into your life. You'll know who you want to be around, who you want to connect to physically, who you don't want to connect to physically. But Sagittarius does lose that over time because they lose their awareness with their physical body, because they tend to want to escape into a better place and run away from their home life when there's too much trauma and abuse. And then the only way that they can tap in to that is to go through excessive trauma, and they end up, I guess, teeter-tottering, teeter-totter, is that right? The right word? They seesaw back from like trauma to greatness, trauma to greatness, right? Because they're unable to balance the whole thing out and to actually experience Earth life without the extra trauma, because they can't actually get in there and feel what happened without just going back and replaying trauma over again. When a Sagittarius is tapped into their Earth-like area, that's when they do see the energy around people. And they also see, like, if you look at the energy of air, right? Some people see nothing, it's invisible, but some people can actually see it as molecules, and that is something a Sagittarius can do. But if they're too far out, they see everything as like a big mess. That's something they don't want to get into because it looks like garbage. But when they're tapped into the Earth, it looks like beauty, and they can manipulate it, and to manipulate the physical energy and not just see it, taking the trauma and saying goodbye to it, and then choosing each time not to jump back into that energy field again. You have to say goodbye to energy fields that are garbage, that you can see. There has to be a complete detachment and separation from the garbage energy in order to be able to see the beauty in the new beautiful energy, to be able to tell the difference between the life that you want to live on a daily basis, the life that you want to be in Earth with, and the one that you have to consistently dive back down in to deal with, and then come back up and live your best life, and then dive back down to deal with it. Anyway, I will talk to you later, Sagittarius. Hi, Capricorn. This is your psychic ability. So Capricorn is Earth connected, means you are powerful in Earth and building up your own empires. This is the Capricorn's way, and it's exciting for you if you can actually tap into that energy. But sometimes when you are living your life like that, you don't actually even realize that you could possibly have a psychic ability unless you're on drugs, because that allows you to escape from the physical reality, which is your life of building consistently and really putting your entire back into it. But the psychic ability that you actually have is really cool, and it's something that runs the world, and that is chronokinesis. And I don't know if you've ever heard of this, but it's the ability to manipulate, slow down, and speed up time to serve your purposes, okay? And if you can tap into this, it's not hard for you. It's not something that you would have to relearn how to do. As long as you can go back into your emotions, you can do it very easily. It's when you're focused too much on the outside world and above you and what's in front of you, and not actually grounding and rooting yourself in the Earth and really feeling your emotions. I think we know by now that if we live on Earth, we live inside time and space, but there is something outside of time and space that doesn't really even understand our time. And so if you notice that some days go faster than others, some days go slower than others. A lot of times a slow day is because it was a hard, shitty day, and a fast day is something that was happy. But if you are aware of it and conscious of it, you can actually make happy days last longer and bad days go quicker, because you can alter the perception, but you can't do it in your mind. You have to do it in your feelings. And what that means is that you have to not be afraid of what became before, because time is a circle, time requires you to see the past at the same time that you're seeing the future. And if your mind is altered by a traumatic and abusive past and you haven't dealt with that, you cannot actually see the future time clearly, which means that you are not capable of controlling either one. Our past is held in our feelings because it's our emotional memories, but our future is held in our mind, and that's why the Aries sign is a ramming, right? And our past is all the way down at our feet. So the lower we go, the more in touch with our past we get. And that's something that's very important, is if your past is not cleared out, if your emotions are not celebrated, and if they're rejected, then what happens is you close off to them and you just build on top of a hard wound, basically. It might be a rock you're building on, but it is a wound. It is scar tissue, and it needs to be dug into if you're going to get into this position. So not only can you manipulate and alter time, you can conjure, you can take and materialize a physical object from thin air. You have that ability. And I know that sounds like really, really crazy to some Capricorns who are very pragmatic and earth-like, but because you can also see that outside time, you can also see outside space. So something that exists, I mean, you can create things. Now, this isn't going to be like, oh my God, I really want a pony for my birthday, so I'm going to create a pony by doing this. Like, you stare at that forever. It's something different. You can think so outside the box. You can feel something so different. You can make something become that never had an ability to become before. And I want you to sort of meditate on that, like think about that. It's about putting a new idea, a new thought into the world that's never existed before so that you can build your empire on top of it. But those things are stuck in your childhood. That's when you had an imagination and you had the ability to think. But this is Capricorn's about building the world and bringing us into progress and bigger and better days. And we can't do it if the Capricorn is shut off to its child, its inner child. And so those are two things. To manipulate the time, to manipulate the space is something that the Capricorn has the power to do if they can find the balance in their past and in their emotional memories. Anyway, that is the Capricorn psychic ability, and I'll talk to you later. Okay, Aquarius, this is your psychic ability. Aquarius normally has the most sort of disruptive childhood of any of the other signs, and it's because it's a very distant, very not touchy-feely placement. It means there's a lot of self-awareness, that you are able to become more into yourself, more articulate, more understanding of the world around you, even without physical touch and connection to other people. Aquarius is like an alien in its own life. There's something very different about them. And so they have more observational skills and powers than everybody else. Through this, they're actually able to use energy. So energy in healing and electromagnetic energy, and being able to use electricity and move that. Someone with a strong Aquarius placement could probably see zaps out of their fingers if they use new and practice their healing abilities. But what happens to them is, because there isn't a lot of touch, there's not a lot of feeling, they do lose control of their physical body to their mind and through their observation, and they can no longer manipulate energy and make it do stuff for them. This energy can be manipulated to heal people of horrible diseases, and if someone was going to be able to do that, it'd be an Aquarius. You can think outside of the box that is what is in front of us, that only medicine can do it. Well, someone had to create that medicine in the first place, but what else can the earth be used for? What things can be taken and put into another body to make that body heal of bad things like cancer or just regular toxins, or what? How can you heal somebody? And Aquarius has that power to do that. Problem is, not being connected to their physical body takes away their ability to handle the physical energy. So it's very important that the Aquarius placement, sun, moon, rising, whatever you're looking at here, spends a lot of time pleasuring themselves. That means enjoying earthly, sinful things. And I say sinful because sin is of the earth. That's what this is. And being awake and aware of the pleasures that the earth and being alive in your physical body can give you. Everything is about the energetic fields that they can manipulate into the point of electricity, touching nerve endings. If you think about the sign Aquarius, it's network, it is the universe, it is connecting to things. It's not boundaryless, it has boundaries. But that's why the electricity can come from it, because electricity itself has boundaries. It's being able to use and redirect it into certain things to make them better, to make things live. Think about Frankenstein's monster, the electricity to make it live. This is a thing that Aquarius can do. If you think about the new age of Aquarius and thinking about it being a place with no more sickness, no more pain, why would that be? Because of the ability to utilize energy and electromagnetic fields in a very different way than we've ever done before, and Aquarius knows how to do that. And you can really use your electrokinesis and your energy healing and your basically just like energy magic. Anyway, and that is your psychic ability, Aquarius, and I'll talk to you later. Hey, hi Pisces, this is your psychic ability. Now, most people will understand that Pisces is the most psychic, being the 12th sign. It's the most purely psychic of all of the signs. Yet, I will tell you that it's very hard to meet a truly psychic, honest psychic Pisces, and the reason why is because Pisces also has the biggest ability to lose the truth in their psychic ability. They can be very altered by toxicity. They can be so altered by toxicity, they can experience good and pure light and pure life as actually toxic, and they can experience an evil magic as good, because they can get flipped upside down. And the reason why is because your earthly body is a part of you that is telling you the truth about what is good for you, the truth about who is good around you. But when you are caught up in outside of your body, there are good and evil forces that can speak to you in the same exact voice. I don't know if you've ever experienced this, Pisces, but you probably have. You can listen in, you can experience, you can feel, you can do all of the psychic things. You are clairvoyant, okay? When you're clairvoyant, you're not...
Want to hear something crazy? My friend, who's my age on my baseball team, passed away of cancer 5 years ago, and one Halloween I went to his house for Halloween. I dressed as Brett the Hitman Hart, and I made these glasses. So I'm gonna tell the story. I'm going to tell this story like the Hitman. So I went to my buddy's house. No, I'm not going to tell the story like that. I went to my buddy's house and dressed as a hitman. And my buddy died 5 years ago on this day, May 7th. And I swear to God, these glasses and this card just like fell. I don't know if you heard a bang earlier, and I was like, what was that bang that fell? So the reason why I'm like this is because I went to my buddy's house, who died on May 7th, 2015, and I went to his house dressed as this, and this fell just right now. And he died on May 7th, like today. So if you're saying, yo, Chad glasses, Baron, the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. Anyways, man, wow, that's crazy. Yeah, exactly. Yo, thanks, man. Yeah, isn't that crazy? Dude, I remember I went to his house. He was dressed up as the Chippendales, but like Chris Farley. We had another friend who was like, this guy was like an Adonis, man. It was like David. He died May 7th, 2015, and and it's like a guy who was quite a little bit large, looked like Chris Farley, and they were the Chippendales, and I spilled wine all over his white Chippendale shirt. Yo, Shiva! Yeah, man. All right, should we do? All right, we'll bring her back, but like we gotta do one video for the song. So, yo, thanks, Baron. Yeah, it's, we were just so shocked. It's been like 5-6 years. Thanks, buddy. Just cancer, right? He was 32. He left a wife and a child. Really sad. So ridiculous because my friend died 5 years ago, and I went to his house dressed up as the hitman, and these glasses and the card just fell from, I have a fan on, and it just fell down and made the sound. I'm like, what the heck just fell? And it was this. And he died May 7th, 2015. That's fucked, man. That shit's fucked. Alright. Yo, what's up, Shiva? Thanks for being here, man. Chad class. Tell me, yeah, this might be a bit loud, but
not necessarily hearing a voice
about the
that
signs.
sounds like this, and that's just the evil voice.
Check in on
Sounds like this, and this is the good voice. You're just knowing and feeling and experiencing. You just have it. You have the words. You have the truth. Man. It's right there. Man. But how do you know it's good or evil?
Thanks, homie.
And when you're a child, you know. You just know. You hear it. You're like, this is good. This is evil. So you experience that. But as an adult, you've been told so many things by so many different people that now you are just a conglomeration of all of their knowledge. And so sometimes you could hear something and you'd be like, oh, that feels good. It sounds like my mom. But your mom might have told you something really evil in the past and you don't know anymore. Your extrasensory perception is manipulated by your physical reality. And that will hurt you a lot.
Yeah, do I have a photo of him?
A lot. As you get older, the more physical manipulation that you have in your life, the more physical trauma, the more abuse that you get, the more your clairvoyance is disturbed.
It's lagging.
And this can mean a lot of Pisces go into a lot of sadness and sickness and depression and anxiety as they get older because they don't know what to believe anymore. And they tend to hold on to their basic truths, which can be religion,
I have one photo of him,
authority,
but
roles, just as long as they can be controlled to not do anything that might cause them harm, because they start realizing they make decisions that cause them harm. They trust people who they shouldn't be trusting. They don't trust people that they should be trusting. If the Pisces can't deal with their own inner turmoil, they don't know what they're hearing. Is you have to be able to know what's best for you, and the only way to do that is to dive into who you truly were as a child and the things that you loved to do.
This isn't really the best photo. It's the only photo like I have here.
Before you were abused by the people in authority over you.
David, the man.
Before you were taught that love could be mean. Before you were taught that somebody who really should be nurturing you could actually neglect you and then say it was your fault. Those kind of things really affect the Pisces. The Pisces and the true clairvoyant is what the world wants to follow. And being able to tap into that energy with you have a Pisces position is really, really powerful. And I would hope that everybody would get that chance to do that. Anyway, that is your Pisces, and this is the end of this video. So again, I do want to thank Keen for sponsoring this video, and I will talk to you all later. Let's pull up the video. What's this video I'm talking about? Heart. Yo, thanks, Baron. Thanks, dude. Oh, I didn't read Big Snow's long thing. I didn't. I did get a call. 1 second. Let me see. Not smart enough to know what to think next, but except model cores energy begin the cone. Any bang is a product of pre-existing matter or energy, right? Like the Big Bang is kind of like a looping thing. It's not like the first bang. Long story short, humans know nothing, and our physical model is mythology dedicated to our ego. Our frame of reference is too short for true understanding. Yeah, has something about to keep from having a break. Yeah, for sure, man. What's the video you recommended? The Limits of Light. This is going to be more like physics. Let's just see. Limits of light. Yo, thanks for being here, dudes.
Our world is filled with light.
Yeah, I don't know.
And color.
I like this idea, but this is like a 50-minute long. Midheavens.
But what is color? We can imagine.
Wow, 1 hour video? Yes, please.
Hi guys, my name is Alyssa and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to discuss your soul purpose and how we find that in astrology. Real quick side note, I do have a companion podcast called Frozen 2 and the Fifth Element. It's episode number 7. I will link that below if you care to go a little bit deeper into the spirit and why it's important that we do find our soul purpose. Before we even get into anything, in order to figure it out, you need to know what your midheaven is. The sign that falls on your midheaven. Now, side note, I have heard this by some astrologers called the midhaven, which kind of confuses me because it's not spelled that way. It's also not a haven. It is a heaven. Midhaven actually sounds like it's a safe place or something. The midheaven is not safe, but it's glorious. The reason why is heaven on earth is what your midheaven is all about. So I just wanted to clear that up a little bit in case you've heard it pronounced otherwise. It's just not spelled haven, but I almost feel like it's a psychological twist on the word because they don't totally understand what it means. We're going to really go in depth into what the midheaven means. So let's find your midheaven. If you already know it, You can probably skip through this part. I'll put a lot of timestamps below so that we can just get to all the points that matter to you. In order to find your midheaven, you do need to go to the link I will have below. It's going to be Cafe Astrology. If you've never looked up your midheaven before, you need to know your exact time of birth, or at least something very similar close to it. And if you don't know exactly, but you know something close to it, you can kind of see that maybe the midheaven might have changed signs during that time. You might want to watch both of these and see which one actually feels better to find out if that is truly you. I will say I was studying astrology for 3 years,
She's good.
believing I had a Capricorn midheaven, really, but in fact I have a Sagittarius midheaven. So when I got my actual birth certificate and didn't go off of what my mother said, I was an hour later. She said I was born at 5, my whole life. You were born at 5, you were born at 5. I was actually born at 5:57. So I got that, and it all of a sudden just was like, oh, that is more like me. I'm going to give you a little run through. So first you're going to go to Cafe Astrology. Then you are going to scroll down to a free astrology reports and click on that. You'll get to another page where you will be told to create a new chart. So do that. And then you have to enter all of your information. So here's my name, searching in the drop down for October, and then the 2nd, 1985. And this is where I'm saying that you're going to need your exact birth time. If you do an unknown time at that right there, you will not get to your midheaven. So try, if you do not know your time, to get close to it, or just watch the whole video and figure out which one feels more like you. Then you put in your birthplace so that the time zone can be correct. Pull that, submit, and then once you do, you're going to just scroll all the way through all of this information that I don't care about right now, and you will reach all of your written information about your birth chart. And this is where you're going to get your midheaven. It's also MC, medium coli. So it's right there where I circled. You can see that mine is 28 degrees and 3 minutes Sagittarius.
I think it's
your midheaven is the point
I think it's the camera,
on your chart,
right?
that reaches the center
not the best,
top.
And
okay.
I think it is bending
This can be like over here, depending on what hemisphere of the earth you were born on, because it does change based on that. It is your idea of you that meets the world. Now, our ascendant sign in astrology is our personality and even our physical features, but the midheaven is more spiritual than that. It means this is your connection with the world. When you go out to the world, who are you? I have a bunch of midheaven videos already, and I will link them below in case you want to go a little bit further, learn a little bit more on top of this video. But I hope that this video sort of is more concise in actually finding your soul purpose. Something that I did find about the midheaven was if your ascendant was what you look like and who you are, your midheaven is who you are on social media, which is true. But what happens is that this sort of gets all irritating because a lot of people know instinctually that this is their sole purpose.
I have
and instead of
I have
living
anonymous
it,
follower mode on. Yo, thank you, Stelios.
You can't live it. You're not actually going to be happy.
Thank you. I'm still trying to figure out whether people
what happens
prefer
is that we have a bunch of people out in the world, out on social media, expressing themselves in the way that they feel
is
true to who they are.
Thanks for following me.
But ends up being a lie, hindering everybody. We tell our lies about ourselves and the way we look and the way our lives are, and other people think it's real, and then they feel bad because here we're looking at a bunch of midheavens up here, and everybody else has to live out their whole chart. We see it, we think that's the way we're supposed to be, and then we do the exact same thing. Or some people like to talk about their food, which is actually more like the 6th house in that area. Man, I love having like a weird fake chart behind me.
I usually have the volume lower.
And I know that seems a little bit off topic about our sole purpose, but the truth of the matter is the reason we say these things, even when they are not true, is because we desire for them to be true. Because they are a part of our soul purpose. So counteracting this sort of culture of lies and manipulation on a public plane is not actually the way to defeat it. The only way to defeat this sort of shallow intentionally like abusive behavior of people and our public figures is to actually realize that if you aren't just pretending to be up at your midheaven,
Oh, big heavens.
you can grow to truly live your midheaven. And that is power, because our midheaven, no matter how you slice it, is our soul purpose. How can we actually get a hold of our soul purpose without having to act it out? First step is recognizing who we desire to be. The glory
Vince McMahon. I'm the best there is, best there was, best there ever will be. So vain, so ridiculous. The vanity is absurd. Yo, this is hilarious, guys. Thanks, dude. Thanks for allowing me to achieve my dream.
we desire to receive for who we are in the world. What is our spirit in the world? What do we look like?
Oh, we all haven't been watching a while. Yo, no worries, buddy.
What do we have of value, and what will make us happy? You see, this line separates the 9th house from the 10th house. You're doing well, buddy. It's not just the 10th house. The 10th house can end up being your career. It can be work. The 9th house is study, higher learning. It's also fame. Jupiter rules that. So what is it right in the center? When hard work meets opportunity, we have our midheaven, and that's what everybody is trying to achieve. And it's easy to find in a chart if you know what you're looking for. So I'm going to go through each sign, and I'm not going to just talk about the midheaven, because no midheaven is complete without the nadir, which is this rooted part of you. If we look at this, the lower part of you is opposite your higher part. This part is just as important. It is in the center of your 3rd house, which is your communication and your community, as well as your 4th house, which is your home, your family, and your ancestry. So this line below tells you where you're coming from. And it's entirely important. And this also represents who you are when no one's looking. We want to grow. We desire to grow. Growth means having to take our roots and grow them into a flower.
Yeah, 150, buddy. And you're my 150th follower, buddy. Thanks, man.
People who lie, cheat, and steal to get ahead, they always win, right?
Like numbers. They get out into the world,
they can lie, and they can still get everything. And that's not true. They don't actually achieve their soul purpose. And that's why the biggest focus should always be on you and who you are and what you do and what you believe. And to be the most authentic and true self you can be. And I'm not saying you don't have to bitch. It's okay if you bitch every once in a while. I bitch. I'm bitch now about midheaven. It's okay to be human, okay? And that's part of what stabilizes our midheaven, is our humanity, okay? So after you figured out your midheaven, you can go down to the timestamps below, and I will explain each one of the signs and how we can stabilize that energy so that we can actually achieve our soul purpose. And we can know that we don't have to find our soul purpose. We've probably already found it. So here we go, let's start. This is your Aries midheaven. Now, if you have Aries at your midheaven, your sole purpose is to be unabashedly you. Passionate, true to yourself, taking care of your needs on a public stage. When people look to you, when you are actually living your sole purpose, they will see you because it's Aries. But you see, this is a little bit backwards because if we look at your chart, here is
You think
this
I
is
like
your
it?
midheaven up here.
Oh, that's amazing.
And having
that was a big question,
anything
man.
out
This was
in
the big
the
X
world
factor.
like this is
Yo,
that it's not
Jacob,
protected.
you know, John
Okay.
Cena. You can't see me.
So this is your nadir, and this is what is protected. And see, what you have protected, having
What's up,
Aries
Dick?
up
Dude,
here,
yo,
is you have Libra
thanks for being here,
protected.
Jacob.
Libra is
Dick,
who
that's so
you
awesome,
are
man.
at your roots. It's your nadir. It's where you've grown from. And that being
That
Libra,
was that was the big thing, man. That was
that
like
you
today was the defining factor.
desire
Dude, right?
to be with another person, whether that's a relationship, a partnership, a friendship. You don't like to be just you. You don't have that like calling to just live your life like free from people and relationships and connections. There's a part of you that needs another person with you. So just by pretending to be Aries up here, pretending to be passionate and independent and a leader, ends up being a lie when you can't do anything without the love of somebody else or the support of somebody else. See, it's anti that Aries power,
the rock.
that Aries sole
cool.
purpose. So instead of pretending, this is what you need to do. Well, you don't need to. You do whatever you want. Okay? It's about understanding
How does he do it?
that you do desire a relationship. That needs to be nurtured in yourself. You see, it's your fourth house down here, which is naturally ruled by Cancer, which is nurture.
But
You need
rock
to nurture
is cooking.
relationships. You need to nurture yourself through relationships.
This
And you need
is
to
so
start
ridiculous,
understanding
guys.
that you do see yourself reflected in another person. And if that's true,
This is
if
so
you see a
ridiculous.
reflection in another person, pretending that doesn't
Yo, Dick, I'm so
exist
happy, man.
doesn't help you. And granted, I know that we
Yeah, yo, I gotta tell
feel
the story.
shame
Should
about
I tell the story?
certain
Let's
things,
tell the
and there's a
story.
lot of shame that comes from our nadir. It's our
no
ancestral
story, but,
roots. It means
I
that
guess
we
story.
have the shame of our mother and our mother's mother.
Dick, dude, he's incinerating. Oh, you're the receiver? Dude, that's perfect. He's working in a biomedical incineration plant. He's incinerating like the biohazardous waste from like hospitals, and Dick is like probably the most important like person, especially right now during this time. A lot of like materials being like sent to this biohazard incinerator and stuff. And the company he used to worked with my company. Because I guess it was like, which is now our company. Everyone here is cool as fuck. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, man. Yeah, it's pretty chill, dude. It's pretty relaxed. That's good to know, man. That's good to hear, man. So I work on the chemical side of hazardous waste, and now Dick's on the biohaz side. It's pretty sick, man. Wait, I'm gonna play something for Jacob.
And his name is John Cena.
How does he do? What does he do? He goes like this. Ridiculous. Too ridiculous, guys. Yo, I'm so happy for you, Dick, man. Let's see the tales of some sort of funky odor are widely exaggerated. Really, Dick? That's great, man.
They're in our mother's mother.
I can do her. Yeah,
Honest.
man. That's sick,
It's
dude.
born into our flesh.
That's perfect, man. So you're
when
receiving.
you think about this, you just
You're receiving now, Dick. So that's good, man. That's like floor supervisor role, kind of. If you're doing the scanning, that means you got to know like the UN numbers, which is usually 3291, and the transportation class, which is usually always 6.2. Got to make sure the manifests are right. Waste class code 312P. That's sick, dude.
Just have to let go a little bit of
Yeah, Deerhouse is a pretty cool place.
And to understand
it's
that
like
it's
the
okay
coolest place.
that you are you
Really,
see yourself reflected in
it's
the
like the
other
most
person.
chill because it's
That's
such an
not
important role, and no one's like just being like a bitch. You know what I mean? Because it's such an important role. It smells 9% metallic, 10% like plastic burning. Nice. That's sick, man. That's perfect.
It's not bad. It doesn't make you less of a
perfect, man.
person. And nurture that within you. And make sure that the people you're surrounding yourself with are good. That they're loving, that they're gracious, that they're kind, that they see that you also, just because you're with them, you don't want to take them with you. And that's okay. You don't have to go bring your partner into your career with you. And I think a lot of Aries midheavens might actually even feel that way sometimes. Like,
I was thinking
if I
that could have been a
don't talk
possibility,
about my
man.
relationship, then
That's
I'm
why
being
I was
bad
like,
to it.
dude.
But you can have
yeah,
a perfectly fine
I bet
career
that, I'll
without
be
ever
honest, I bet
bringing
that
your
happens a
family
lot.
or your relationships into it. Because not everybody's
But if
public
you can handle it, man,
persona
that's great.
needs
But
to
it's not that.
carry
It's really not that
that
bad.
with
Get
them. In
used to
fact,
it. It's
that
a
is
clean
part of
smell.
you that you protect.
It's clean.
That gives
the thing
you
is that,
stability.
like,
So
it's
once
the
you have that
aftermath
stable
of the
energy in that
process, right?
stable relationship, you
Well,
have
you
the
don't even-
ability
it's
to
not
go
even that
out
bad.
and speak from that truth and that passion, so that it doesn't become anger and resentment and projection and
Yeah, that happens a
wishing
lot
that you
too. So
could be
if
this
they
certain
see
way
someone
and
who's, like,
pretending you are
smart,
when you're really not. This is
articulate,
when you
it's
really
really
have
good
the
for,
ability to lead and to draw
That's
attention
like
to
it's inspected
yourself
a lot.
for who you are
There's a lot
and
of
not who
inspection,
you're
so they
next
need
to.
someone on the floor that really
And
knows
that is
what they're doing.
gives you
Especially
that
by, like,
power,
ministry,
and that is what
environment.
you truly desire, and your soul desires that for
I can't
you.
even smell it anymore. That's great, man.
And so your purpose here on earth is to find yourself through somebody else
That's huge too.
somebody
You got
good
hired through Stericycle
that
because
you
it was again
respect
the
and that you
first temp
trust,
Manpower.
and then to
Sorry for saying the name of the company, it
actualize
just
it,
came out,
to
but If
self-actualize
it's through
it
Manpower, yeah, they take a cut.
in front of everybody.
I'm against the word
And
manpower
I know
for
that people will tell you that that's
dual
wrong,
sex thing.
but they
It should be updated
don't
to, like,
have your
people
chart.
power.
A lot
they're
of people
assholes
like to
anyways and
blanket
take
statement
13%
stuff, but the
of your
truth is that we're all
income
different.
anyways, but I
And so if
digress.
you have Aries on your midheaven, granted, it's a little bit harder because you are naked up there. But if you can nurture your relationships will nurture you enough to give you that power to be yourself where you truly want to be yourself. And that is your Aries midheaven. Okay, Taurus midheaven. Now, Taurus midheaven is a hard place to have your midheaven because this is your public area up at top, and Taurus belongs down here. Taurus is a private area. It is your softness.
More like girl power.
It is your five senses. It's your
has a
pleasure
better ring to
centers,
it.
your hearing, your touching, your tasting. Even your throat is here. You'll able to speak sort of from your heart. Taurus is ruled by Venus, and so it likes sensuality and it likes to be itself. And so you have this idea that this is yourself exposed. It's about going down to your roots, to your fourth house where Scorpio is, and really understanding that this part is what you need to stabilize your Taurus self. Because the bad parts about Taurus, that when we shallow and we cut off our roots and we go up to that midheaven and we're just like, look at me, I'm here, cutting ourselves off so that we're just the head of a dead flower. When you're Taurus, that looks like materialism. It looks like vanity. It does look like you give a shit more about touching yourself than you do about anybody in the world. And that's not Taurus's sole purpose. That's the negative effects of being a shallow Taurus midheaven. But understanding your roots here in Scorpio, you are a deeply sexual being. Scorpio is sensual sexual because it's two put together, but Scorpio is sex. And it's not just physical sex. It's a metaphor for all different types of close connection. You know, therapy actually belongs to Scorpio because it's that water that communicates with more water. Belongs in the natural 8th house. So it's about transformation of energy, transmutation, going together to become one. So Scorpio is about this closeness, this vibing. And what you desire in your roots is to vibe with another person, to connect to another person intimately, nakedly, in your mind, in your heart, in your nether regions, to create this beautiful gift. And sometimes this can be traumatic in your youth because what Scorpio represents. So it could feel like you just want to run away from it and just to explore this sensuality and this materialism and this comforts of life because you don't like where you came from. But the truth is that if that's what happened to you, you have to reroot yourself in that Scorpio and transform that and run away from the idea that you on the inside when nobody's looking are a little scorpion with a tail ready to sting anyone who comes close to you. And that's why you put on this facade that you don't need anybody, when in fact you do. You need to understand the rebirth and the regrowth and the transformation that Scorpio brings to bring you into the place where you can be an eagle, where you can be a phoenix, where you have that deep wisdom and that understanding of everybody and that
I need one of those
feeling and that
replica belts.
Intuition that you get through having a Scorpio and a deer, Scorpio
the
IC,
Red Heart Arrow
that
one,
leads
yeah.
you to be able to be
that'd be
kind
sick, dude.
and
I'm sure
loving
you probably get some pretty good ones on like
from your
eBay
heart
or
and
Amazon. You probably
a
get
sensual
like a real one.
being for everyone to see, but not showcasing it like
for the costume.
like you would say
It's plastic,
Scorpio.
all plastic, right?
Because Taurus is private. So you're trying to put your private self out there, but what do you keep private? You keep your sexual relationships private. You keep the power of your connection to other people private. You keep that mystery private. And you showcase a very loving, good-natured person with a lot of heart. And your sole purpose is to take that into the world.
Costume
and to get
I
on
found
something
some,
that
like,
is
amazing,
comfortable, that is materialistic
like,
in
belt,
a good
leather
sense,
with a
that's
metal
not
plate, you know what I
flaunting,
mean?
but
Like a
that's
punched,
giving
like, hammer
and
plate,
receiving,
not by hand, probably machine,
that
but
enjoys
still,
pleasure,
it's
and that
amazing.
tells everybody it's okay to have the pleasure. You're actually protecting that part with stability. You're free to give real love to everyone on a grand scale, speaking from your heart. And that is part of your soul purpose. You desire that. You want to showcase that. And in turn, you will give the world the ability to see that it's okay to have good things, that the comforts of life are valued and valuable. And even if you never had them, you don't have to run in the other direction to try and accumulate. It's not about accumulation. It's about quality over quantity. It's about understanding stability and to be stubborn in your own beliefs. And that's another thing that your soul purpose is about achieving, that you don't have to be swayed by the masses. When you go into the world, it's not about that. It's not about inflicting chaos or having chaos inflicted on you. You deal with your chaos in your own time, but you are steadfast and true on your midheaven when you go and meet the world. And that is your Taurus midheaven. Hey, Gemini midheaven, you are meant to communicate. Gemini is Mercury. It is the sign of communication, okay? The Gemini midheaven soul purpose is to speak logical fact to the world and logical fact only. You see, but what happens is if you are ignoring the lower part of your chart, your nadir, you're ignoring your Sagittarius self, the part of you that must be nurtured before you can go meet the world at your midheaven. So your midheaven can only be logical and factual if you have a deep-rooted wisdom within yourself. But if you're running away, which Sagittarius on its negative side does, it runs away. It doesn't want to deal with problems. It ignores problems. It projects problems. It tries to live in this Jupiterian, Jupiter ideals that nothing is ever its fault, that it must be somebody else's fault. And if it's somebody else's fault, they are never, ever receiving the wisdom that Jupiter and Sagittarius can bring them. They are pushing it away all the
said I
time.
showed
And
up
this
on a
might
bad
be
day 'cause
because
the
they
incinerator was
didn't want to
down.
be where they came from. It sucked where they were born,
Really?
where they lived, and they just
Why was
wanted
it
to run
down?
away all the time. But
crazy.
if you can't stop running, if you have a Gemini midheaven, you
So
will
you
run
must have seen it when
forever.
it was super packed.
And you will
That's
never
good. That's a good
gain
sign, man.
wisdom. You will never be able to face yourself in the mirror and to
Probably
see,
saw it as, like,
I did these bad
most
things, but
packed.
through failure, I can learn, not others. My life is my own. It is not the world's. You are rooted within yourself to handle your own issues and problems and to gain strength and wisdom from it. It is through that, then, that your Gemini midheaven speaks logic and fact to help others and not to continue false
Routine maintenance.
narratives.
Okay.
You see, Gemini, in its negative light, has the ability to lie, to cheat others, to pretend, make up things, and act like they are true and that they are all-knowing because they say things with such conviction once
Okay,
they get
I'm gonna
up
ride
there
the
because
bike.
that is where their Gemini is.
And then I'm probably gonna do
But
some
you see,
lifting
Gemini
after.
belongs down
Also.
here most of the time because a lot of time it's lower consciousness in a way. It's our lower thinking. So when we as normal humans, and you too, when normally what happens is we're supposed to think a lot, gather information, and then speak on it. But if it's up here, it's just like I say everything I'm thinking because it's public. I don't have thoughts, I have spoken words. And sometimes you can make your social media your diary when in reality you should probably keep some of that to yourself. And it's not unified with wisdom and virtue from Sagittarius. It becomes nasty and messy and puts the collective consciousness into a descent. It puts it into a lower consciousness because that is what Gemini is. So too many Gemini midheavens who don't take their soul purpose seriously are a cause of that collective consciousness becoming lower vibrational. And because of that, they have to be careful of what they say and what they do and what they speak. But when they can root themselves in their wisdom, in their truth, in their virtue, and to understand that they do love to run and to figure out what they're running from, and maybe instead of running, use it to expand their consciousness and to create this huge higher consciousness in their private lives. Every time they speak, it will be a precise, factual account of a higher consciousness, but spoken through the mouth of lower consciousness, which means that it's easier to understand and easier to accept and easier to take in, making the Gemini midheaven a very good leader and a very good public speaker and somebody who we should be listening to. And so that becomes your sole purpose, to be this powerful speaker and leader in the world. But only after you've conquered the Sagittarius dragon underneath. But that is your Gemini midheaven. Cancer midheaven. So your Cancer midheaven's sole purpose is to nurture the world. So if it is there to nurture the world, what we tend to want to do is just act like we're nurturing the world all the time, and that's what we do, and we're freaking Mother Teresa, and we give and give and give and give and give of ourselves. But what happens is you slowly start to deteriorate underneath because you have no stability, and people just take and take and take and take and take, which can actually, on a beautiful human being who has a beautiful Cancer midheaven, create a horrible ego problem where they do not admit that they're wrong or that they're doing the wrong thing because it feels right. It feels right to give love and nurture to the world. But in fact, it's a flipped-flopped state of thinking. And if it's shallow, if there is no basis or no roots down here in your chart, and it's only Cancer up here, you are going to lose everything that you have and become a shell of yourself. And that is the hardest part about having the Cancer midheaven. And that's why it's a flipped chart. The 10th house, the midheaven, is naturally ruled by Saturn, by Capricorn, which in your chart is down here. And what is naturally the 4th house, ruled by Cancer and the moon, is now up here. Having the moon, your roots, your emotional nature up here, means that your private life is pretty much gone if you don't want it there. Because what is down here but Capricorn? Restrictions, authority, rules, time, issues. And what probably happened is you grew up really fast because you are treated like an adult, like you should take on too much responsibility. So instead of being nurtured as a child, you were like, no, go out into the world. And what had happened once you went out in the world, you were like, well, I don't want to deal with that restriction anymore. And so then it becomes this backwards, weird restriction that doesn't make any sense and is really not healthy for you. It can become like a cesspool underneath this beautiful Cancer energy because you're now having to restrict yourself so that people aren't taking your energy anymore and that you're not giving too much of yourself and you're not going like the moon goes, which is crazy sometimes, in front of everybody so everybody can see how crazy you are. You have to protect yourself. So what happens and what you need to do in order to reach that soul purpose and not just be faking it till you make it is to go back down to this Saturn and reroot yourself in a powerful, loving, authoritative figure over your own life. How do you find your own authority? You are in charge of your life. But when you live up in Cancer up here, it doesn't feel that way. It doesn't feel like you have any control over anything. But if you go back down, if you cut off your head and go back to your roots and don't showcase yourself to the world and protect yourself and take care of your own needs and your own truths without anybody else's insights, you will find out that you are the Father. You are your truest authority. Nobody gets to you except through you. You don't need a bunch of other people protecting you. You're it. But the truth is, it's so beautiful to have a Cancer midheaven because you really do know how to heal the world. But you have to learn that your Cancer is not about healing one person at a time. It's not about touching lives close up. It's the world. So you have to find a place to stand so that you can move the earth. Not moving the earth through touching everything and living in chaos, in water. It's about showing yourself off. But other people can't be the ones protecting you either, or you'll never feel in control. So you have to let that idea go, that anybody else should be controlling you, or that you somehow need to run away from control. Like, both things can kind of happen. But being the authority in your own life and working your freaking hardest until you get to that point is all you have to protect yourself. And so it is very, very hard to have this placement in your chart. But it can be done if you look at yourself in the mirror and say, I am my own authority. I make my own decisions. I choose not to let these people take advantage of me. I make my own boundaries. I will only go outside and speak to the world and love the world when I have first decided to love myself. Once you take care of that, you will give the world goodness and love and nurture, and then you will go back to the world. Back to yourself and nurture yourself through authority. Isn't that interesting that you get to nurture yourself by being your own authority? That's nurturing to you, to be in control of your own life. That nurtures you. So don't allow somebody to take that from you. Anyway, that is your Cancer midheaven.
I'm gonna maybe do a little bit more lifting.
If you have a Leo midheaven, you are meant to be the wild child. On the public stage, the child that never has to grow up, because you see, Leo is the kid, it's the heart.
And then I might sign off.
A lot of times people who struggle with narcissism never had a childhood, therefore they never wanted to grow up, therefore they get jealous of little children. That's a common psychological trait of narcissists, in case you wanted to know. And it's because of this Leo energy, this heart energy. When their heart is destroyed, they are also destroyed, and they become ego monsters, meaning to vampire and take from everybody. Now you see, that happens to the Leo midheaven if they're cut off from their roots. But a lot of Leo midheavens would desire to be cut off from their roots so that they can go be free and go be children for the first time in their life, because they had Aquarius on their nadir, on their IC. They have Aquarius down here. You see, Aquarius is the 11th house, is networking. It also feels alien. It feels different. A lot of Aquarius nadirs, Aquarius ICs, they struggle with fitting in throughout their youth, and they might feel like they come from a foreign land or that they're completely alien to the rest of the world. So all they do is desire to fit in. But if you can't take the idea that you are born of Aquarius, from the ashes of the Aquarian, you will lose yourself to chaos in your midheaven by always being a child and never taking responsibility for your actions, even if your actions are poorly thought out. And the way you handle this is you realize that Aquarius is also the water bearer. It brings gifts, water, to those who need it. It brings water to those without water at its basic level. And this is why it also rules this idea of oneness with everybody, this one that we connect. I am one, you are one, we connect, we make 11. Aquarius is the 11th sign. So you are meant to understand yourself fully and connect to another person and another person, creating a chain. And this is in your roots. This is who you are when no one's looking. So when you aren't paying attention to that, it starts becoming a cesspool, connecting to whoever's closest to you, feeling like your answers are always right, that you're the one who's going to win, and yada, yada, yada. But in reality, you don't need to feel shame about the fact that you're different, that you're unique. But you also don't need to be like, I'm unique and I'm different, so you need to be like me. In fact, you should utilize the power that makes you unique, the power that gives you this ability to connect to other people, and put that through that Leo purpose on the midheaven to make it fun, so that you're not boring people, so that you're giving people the best part of you, that fun-loving, exciting part. But if you're stuck in the fact that you just feel like you're different and that everybody needs to pay attention to you because of that, then you're just losing everyone that could have had you, could have valued you. You have the ability to see what people want because you connect to them hand in hand, and you see them and you take their energy and they give you their energy to be able to utilize that in your career and in your soul purpose. And that gives you so much power. But I think that it just happens to tell, like, basically, if you want to live your soul purpose, you have to let go of that need to be accepted and learn that you are actually a performer. And that's okay. It's fun to be a performer. It's just a little bit scary because it's not safe up there, and that child wants to be safe. But you nurture yourself through that disconnection, through that ability to be yourself and to be unique and to be smarter than everyone else, so that's what you feel like, but that's not what you showcase to the world. You don't need to give people that. You give people the show because you give people happiness, and it's your sole purpose that you desire to give people happiness. And that will make you the happiest in this life, to really be able to live your career like that in that Leo midheaven. And that is your Leo midheaven. Okay, Virgo midheaven. Virgo is the last, where are you? Here. Virgo exists over here, is the last sign to be underneath the horizon line. So when we put Virgo then at the 10th house in Earth, it's not actually an awfully hard placement. It just can get a little bit mundane, even though you are not a mundane person. People with Virgo midheavens are actually very exciting, but they feel like they have to put on a show of perfection and hard work and detail-orientedness, when that might not even be what they are actually doing. Their life underneath could be an explosion of like confusion and delusion and relationships that are not what they seem, and losing power. But up here they're like, nope, I got it all together, everything's great, I'm in control, can't you see me? But then nothing ever ends up happening. They don't get to like live the life that they always wanted to live, because that Pisces underneath is their undoing. And so their roots are just full of confusion and chaos, and they just try to run away from it and just live a normal life. But the truth is, you can't do that. You have to incorporate that part of your life into your soul purpose. You have to understand that you came from a childhood of creativity and originality and spirituality and understanding God and divine information. And so you take that information and you put it into Virgo, which then makes the mundane of the world much more magical. But you have to be willing to see that some of the stuff where it doesn't vibe with what you know to be true, because Virgo is ruled by Mercury, which is the mind, but that maybe you're meant to change the world, you'll actually grow a lot more in the world because people will be fascinated by you. Not just okay with you. I'm like,
okay, good. You don't weird me out. You look normal. You're fine.
More like,
wow, I'm not sure if I like you, but I'm very, very interested in what you have to do and say.
And that is what brings, like that Virgo midheaven's purpose is to bring magic back into the world and to create power in the world.
So my midheaven is the next one.
For everybody to see. That can be accomplished if you can allow it to be so. Anyway, that is your Virgo midheaven.
So this is my midheaven. This is how
Libra midheaven.
I roll
Having
in
a
the
Libra
world.
midheaven is actually quite nice. It's not too difficult, if that makes sense, because we can call it like this is the power couple situation. If you have a Libra midheaven, you want to be seen with a partner, a relationship, somebody to reflect off of you. And you do grow much better when you're with somebody. But the problem is, since you know that, you might feel like if I just latch on with this powerful person, or if I go after this powerful partnership, or I have this powerful friend, I am going to grow super fast. But it's not all about who you know, it's also about who you are. And down here on your roots, you have Aries, which is your needs. And if you're just living up here, you're not actually meeting your own needs. And you're slowly and publicly becoming the relationship or the partnership or the friendship that you're in. You're losing yourself to somebody else. You need to go back down and find that Aries, those needs, that Mars energy. What are you angry about? What are you passionate about? Because a lot of times what happens if you have a Libra midheaven is that you become the other person and you start growing resentful because that little part inside of you is like, I need to come out. I need to get out of here. I need to be myself, but I can't because then people will judge me and they'll make me feel stupid for the ideas that I have. I really need to just rely on the people around me to give me attention and hope and tell me what to do and what to say, because eventually that's what happens if you're stuck up there with no roots for too long. So the most important thing you can do is go down into your nadir, into your lower part of you, and you can nurture it and you can give it power over your inner life, that you know truly, madly, deeply who you are inside, and you like that about yourself, and you are that. But you don't have to go to your midheaven and say, I'm myself. No, you can now be seen with another person. You can enjoy those partnerships, but you don't have to take the easy way out and become them. You are you with another person. There's a beautiful separation of where you start and another person begins, making you still stand out in your soul purpose. So what is that purpose? And that is to showcase that love exists between two people, that two people can coexist, that you can have power within yourself even next to another person. You see, if you're acting this out shallowly, like the collective will start understanding that love is stupid, that love is blind, that love does not exist because you lose yourself to love and then you die. And that's not what you want to do. That's not your soul purpose. In fact, that depresses you. It makes you angry to think that you're not progressing your life in that fashion. But it's because you gave up on yourself first that you allowed it to happen. And so it's that choice that you made, cutting off your roots to gain fame and popularity quicker through somebody else, instead of just taking the time to love yourself and to give yourself the attention that you deserve. So once you find yourself, then you can fly high with whoever you want to fly high with, and you can showcase that love really does exist and that it will last.
Oh, wow. That was so... She's so good. That was such a good reading. Wow, that was amazing. Yo, you made 15 bucks already, homie? That's amazing, dude. That's incredible. Don't give up on yourself. Yeah, really. That's a good point, man. In trying to be true harmonious, I'm losing my existence and who I am. I'm saying all midheavens. That's a potential threat. That's incredible, dude. She's so good. She's so smart. Divine Venus, and also Kimberly, or Catherine Emily. Catherine Emily. This is the Divine Venus, and Catherine Emily. I gotta sign off now, though, homie and homies. We got Real Pink Elephants in here. We got Jacob, VNAG. We got Stelios TV. We got Baron Bagcock. We got Shiva, Big Snow. Thank you so much, dudes and dudettes. And Yoga My Life. That was amazing. Made my day. What can I say? That's just amazing. Okay, I gotta go though. Dickest Khan. Okay. I didn't write down the. We got the sick, man. Sick, dude. Thanks, man. Yo, thanks so much for that tier 3, man. I tried to put something colorful there, you know what I mean? That's actually from it. Yeah, I guess, yeah, that's from a yo-yoing video I did in Toronto. That all the graffiti was in West Toronto, in Little Portugal, Little Italy area. On the road is on, I think it's Dundas West, right at the junction, and Keele. Dundas West, all those little microbreweries. That's where that is, right by the train station, junkyards, train yards. It's a beautiful stretch of just incredible graffiti. Toronto has insane graffiti. Thank you for being here. I did so much stuff. 2.5 hours, wow. Okay, I'm going to raid somebody. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it greatly. Let's see who's online. Let's raid Rosvel. Who's playing Perfect Dark? No one. Yeah, let's raid Rosvel. Already 180 grams protein. Yeah. Big Snow was in here earlier. He said he was eating 300 grams of protein. That's crazy. Rosvel, VVELL. He's playing some GoldenEye. Oh dang! Blue Fire Phoenix is watching Dragon Ball Z. That's pretty sick. She's doing like a live reaction. That's too bad. Not too bad. I rated Roswell. Yo, thanks, Dick. Thank you, everybody. Really, thank you so much for being here. Real Pink Elephants, Stelios, Real My Life, Big Snow, Baron, Shiva. Okay. Most people only lift weights for like half an hour. Yeah, I gotta eat more. I was talking for half the time though. Okay, man. Alright, guys. See ya. Bye. I'll do the Cloud9 exit. Bye for now.